if I had to categorize myself, I would say I'm a proud Pan-Africanist. I'm gonna look further into like the meaning of that, but from what I understand, if you about your people, you about the advancement, the empowerment, the safety, the evolution of your people, of the culture. You probably a Pan-Africanist. So I would consider myself a Pan-Africanist. And with that being said, if you never heard about this brother, someone worth shouting out, Ibrahim Traoré, who was the president of Burkina Faso. He came into power with a coup. I want to say 2023, where it's like a military takeover of the government, which outside looking in, very outside looking in, people who are not of the culture, I think it's funny and hypocritical how some people will condemn this coup. And I'm not saying coups are great things, right? But if you've been abused for the longest, right? I heard a brother yesterday talk about if you're in a room and every door is locked, right? It's hypocritical for somebody that's outside that room to try to tell that person how to unlock these doors, right? When the person inside is trying to breathe, they're trying to see, they're trying to find freedom and stuff like that. It's hypocritical, and we know there's a lot of hypocritical people out there, and we know who I'm talking about. It's hypocritical for you to try to tell that person how they're allowed to get out, especially when you put them in the room in the first place. And that's like we'll unpack more of this as we go through more episodes, but it's hypocritical. But the brother Ibrahim Traoré said, fuck all that. All right. There's so many things this brother and his crew have done. He, along with, I think it's Assimi Goïta from Mali, and then the president of Niger, they created what's called the Sahel States, the AES, right? The Alliance of Sahel States. And basically, man, like these brothers, right? Speaking of Traoré specifically, but these brothers, as this trio, the Avengers, are moving the culture forward, moving the diaspora forward by taking control of their resource. And there's a bunch of things. I won't give you all the things here that he's done, but in fact, I do have a list, right? So basically, since he's been in power, he kicked the French military out, right? And it's so hypocritical how French people have been trying to, or the French government, whatever you want to call it, have been trying to keep their, greasy mitts around Africa, exploiting them for all these decades. Had time to do things right, but now they gotten kicked out. If I'm not mistaken, I think France is experiencing a little bit of instability because a lot of the things that they tout as like, class and prestige and stuff like that, they've been having it because they've been robbing Africa blind, right? But now that brothers like Ibrahim Traoré, Assimi Goïta from Burkina Faso, Niger, and then Mali have come in and taken their refineries back, building things in Africa. They changing the names, these French colonial names of like their streets and their, monuments and stuff like that. They're getting rid of the French language, right? So these are some of the things that Ibrahim and the brothers have done. They created elite military units to fight terrorism and restore national security. These brothers, they got video of it too, have found, because Ibrahim Traoré, these brothers are soldiers, right? They're not politicians, they're soldiers. And he even capped his salary to continue to have a military salary instead of presidential salary, which I think has been, one of the issues of the corruption in Africa, where it's like these leaders get into politics for the bag and then, make promises and then never follow through on those promises, which is pathetic, to say the least, right? These brothers are soldiers, so they're not playing. So they understand the importance of military presence, the importance of being able to protect yourself, especially when you got a bunch of haters out there always trying to keep their greasy mitts on your assets, stuff like that. So they said, fuck all that, right? So they built a military. They bombed a bunch of terrorists that were terrorizing Burkina Faso. They bombed them. They found like 1,000 dirt bikes. He's given tractors to farmers. They've started their own electric car brand, their cell phones. They've canceled a bunch of contracts with miners, like from Canada, China, stuff like that, where they were getting exploited. They formed, again, the Alliance of Sahel States, with Mali, Niger, and for joint defense. And more countries are joining this too. I think Ghana, I think, is or may potentially, I could be wrong, but like join the AES, because you got something called ECOWAS, which was like basically the West, right? The United States and France and UK doing what they do, right? So, which is some bullshit. But now with the AES are like the new brothers on the block. It's like, we're not fucking around with y'all, right? So they kicked the French military out and cut ties with French neo-colonial influence. They slashed governmental salaries, including his own, like I mentioned before. They declared a progressive and popular revolution to guide national development. They've got doctors and professionals coming back home to Burkina Faso because they see the investment opportunities there in Burkina Faso, right? So I'm loving to see the people come home to sort of like, keep this momentum going to where it just can't be stopped at any point. Whether they try to take Ibrahim out, because I think they've had like 20-something assassination attempts this year. I mean, so the end of last year and this year, however long it's been. They've been trying to take this brother out, and they haven't been able to because Burkina Faso, again, these brothers are soldiers, and there's like the Russia-Africa summit, so even Vladimir Putin is providing, security for Burkina Faso, for Ibrahim. There's some conversations happening with China, so there's a revolution happening globally. There's a lot of other things he's done. He's built hospitals, built roads, canceled $4.7 million, $1 billion in debt. They established the postal bank, the AES passport. There's a lot of things here that I can go on and on and on about. And I won't do it, but that's a brother you need to check out. Again, President Ibrahim Traoré, who is well known across the diaspora and the world too. That's why they're trying to take this brother out. And I'm enjoying the revolution. What a time to be alive for us folks.